The early 20th century and the prelude to globalization. The early 20th century marked significant changes in the global landscape, laying the groundwork for modern globalization. This period was characterized by rapid industrialization, technological advancements, and increased international trade. The invention of the airplane, the expansion of railways, and the advent of the telegraph and telephone drastically reduced the time and cost of communication and transportation, enabling more efficient movement of goods and information. World War I, 1914–1918, and the subsequent Treaty of Versailles reshaped national boundaries and international relations, sowing seeds for both economic collaboration and conflict. The League of Nations was established in 1920 as a precursor to global governance, although its effectiveness was limited. Meanwhile, the interwar period saw fluctuating economies and the rise of protectionism, culminating in the Great Depression of the 1930s, which had global repercussions. Post-World War II order and the foundations of modern globalization. The end of World War II in 1945 ushered in a new era of international cooperation and economic reconstruction. The establishment of the United Nations in 1945 aimed to prevent future conflicts and promote peace and security globally. The Bretton Woods Conference in 1944 resulted in the creation of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, institutions designed to stabilize the global economy and provide financial assistance for reconstruction and development. The General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT, established in 1947, sought to reduce trade barriers and promote international trade. This period also witnessed the beginning of the Cold War, which polarized the world into two ideological blocs led by the United States and the Soviet Union. However, it also fostered a competition-driven technological race that spurred innovations with global implications. The economic boom and the rise of multinational corporations. The decades following World War II experienced unprecedented economic growth, particularly in Western countries and Japan. This economic boom, often referred to as the Golden Age of capitalism, was marked by high productivity, rising standards of living, and increased consumer demand. The Marshall Plan facilitated European economic recovery, while Japan's post-war economic miracle transformed it into a major global economic power. The expansion of multinational corporations, MNCs, played a crucial role in globalizing business practices. Companies like General Motors, IBM, and Coca-Cola established operations and supply chains worldwide, bringing about greater economic interdependence. This period also saw the advent of new technologies such as computers and jet air travel, further shrinking distances and facilitating global business operations. The 1970s, crises and transformations. The 1970s were marked by significant economic disruptions and geopolitical shifts that influenced the trajectory of globalization. The oil crises of 1973 and 1979, triggered by geopolitical conflicts in the Middle East, led to skyrocketing oil prices and global economic stagflation. These crises underscored the vulnerabilities of interdependent economies and highlighted the need for energy diversification. Meanwhile, the end of the Bretton Woods system in 1971, with the United States abandoning the gold standard, led to floating exchange rates and increased volatility in international financial markets. Despite these challenges, the decade saw the rise of the information age, with advances in computing and telecommunications laying the groundwork for the digital revolution. Additionally, the establishment of the European Economic Community, EEC, in 1957 and its expansion in the 1970s marked significant steps toward regional economic integration. The 1980s and 1990s, the acceleration of globalization. The late 20th century witnessed the rapid acceleration of globalization, driven by technological advancements, policy shifts, and the end of the Cold War. The 1980s saw the rise of neoliberal economic policies, championed by leaders like Ronald Reagan in the United States and Margaret Thatcher in the United Kingdom. These policies emphasized deregulation, privatization, and free markets, fostering an environment conducive to global trade and investment. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the subsequent dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the end of the Cold War, leading to the integration of Eastern European countries into the global economy. The establishment of the World Trade Organization, WTO, in 1995 replaced GATT and provided a robust framework for international trade negotiations and dispute resolution. The Internet revolutionized communication and commerce, enabling the rise of e-commerce and global connectivity. The early 21st century, globalization in the digital age. The dawn of the 21st century heralded a new phase of globalization characterized by the digital revolution and the rise of emerging markets. The proliferation of the Internet and mobile technology transformed how people communicate, work, and conduct business, leading to the emergence of digital giants like Google, Amazon, and Alibaba. Global supply chains became more intricate, with production processes spread across multiple countries. China and India, among other emerging economies, experienced rapid growth, becoming significant players in the global market. However, this period also saw increased scrutiny of globalization's impacts, including concerns about job displacement, income inequality, and cultural homogenization. The 2008 financial crisis exposed the vulnerabilities of the global financial system, leading to calls for regulatory reforms and more sustainable economic practices. The challenges and criticisms of globalization. As globalization deepened, so did the criticisms and challenges associated with it. Economic inequality within and between countries became more pronounced, with wealth increasingly concentrated in the hands of a few. The environmental impact of global industrialization and consumption patterns raised urgent questions about sustainability and climate change. The offshoring of jobs to lower-cost regions sparked debates about labor standards and the loss of manufacturing jobs in developed countries. Cultural globalization led to concerns about the erosion of local cultures and traditions. Furthermore, the rise of nationalist and populist movements in various countries reflected growing discontent with perceived economic and cultural threats posed by globalization. These challenges highlighted the need for more inclusive and equitable approaches to global economic governance. The present and future of globalization. In the contemporary era, globalization continues to evolve amidst complex dynamics and uncertainties. The COVID-19 pandemic, which emerged in 2019, significantly disrupted global supply chains, travel, and trade, prompting a re-evaluation of global interdependence and the resilience of international systems. Technological advancements, particularly in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and renewable energy, are poised to shape the next phase of globalization. Issues such as cybersecurity, data privacy, and digital sovereignty have become increasingly important. Geopolitical tensions, including the rise of China as a global superpower and shifting alliances, are redefining the global order. As the world grapples with these challenges, the future of globalization will likely depend on finding a balance between economic integration and national interests, fostering sustainable development, and ensuring that the benefits of globalization are more widely shared.